Mrs. Potts, which is part of my Beauty and the Beast set. One thing that I love about Mrs. Potts is she's just so bright and colorful, whereas a lot of characters from Beauty and the Beast, including all these other ones that I sculpted, are just kind of golds and yellows and browns. And she is white and purple and pink and just bright and colorful, as is Chip. I just love that. I think it really makes the whole set and everything just sort of, I don't know, it's just a bright, sunny, nice little change of pace. So I hope you guys love it as much as I do. If you missed any of the previous videos, they will all be linked in the description box below, as well as where you can purchase this as a necklace, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!
So we're going to begin by sculpting her body and her spout with white acrylic. One thing that's a little bit, I don't want to say difficult, but just a little bit of consideration to make while you're placing her on the nail is that most of the time when I'm sculpting something, I try to choose things that are long and narrow or tall and narrow so that they fit on a nail, because nails are, they're longer than they are wide. At least that's standard, unless you have very, very short nails and wide nail beds. Always they're longer than they are wide. And so when you have a character that is wider than she is tall, it makes it for a little bit of a less easy situation for placing on the nail. Not that it's a problem necessarily or that she looks out of place on here. It's just something that I would say you want to keep in the back of your mind just when you kind of start out this particular character, because it is different than others. And a lot of times, like with a human character like Belle, she's definitely taller than she is wide, so that you don't have to have that consideration of, do you cut off an arm or do you cut off her face, or what do you do? So that's just something to kind of have just as a thought. So we're going to start out with purple. I added the foot of the little teapot, and then I'm going to be adding her snout or her spout. I don't know, it's her nose, it's not really her snout, but definitely her spout. With the white acrylic going up off to the side, going back to that same nice bright purple that I used for the bottom of the teapot, I'm going to be adding her lid, kind of tucking that in around the sides. I think it's so cute. It looks like a sweet little hat on her. And then I'm going to be adding some gold accents. So this is a metallic gold acrylic that is a very yellow gold. It's not like a soft gold or a white gold. You definitely want to use, for all of the characters in this set that require gold, you want to use a metallic, almost bronze gold, just a really deep, rich color. So we're going to be doing a little bit of like a wavy pattern around the top of her lid, and then you're going to take a pink acrylic and add a little circle for the handle on the lid so that you can take it off without burning your hands. And then with white, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to be adding her eyes. And it may seem rather redundant to be sculpting her eyes over the top of, with white over the top of a white background, but it gives you this extra little bit of height and dimension, and it makes the painting later just a little bit easier because you already have the eyes placed and the sizing done. And when you go to paint them in and add the outlines and the details, it's, the hard part's already there. You know exactly how big they are, and it just is, just a little easier from then on out then. And she does have a little bit of like an eyebrow that goes up over the edge of her lid, just slightly give it a little bit more shape there. And then if you want to, you can sculpt like a smile line. You can sculpt the lower lip. You can add some purple inside her mouth, which is definitely something I did. I gave her an open mouth, and I think it's so cute that she has the purple color inside her mouth instead of the rest of the characters have a more humanoid red color or like a dark red color inside their mouth, whereas she has purple. I think it's just perfect. And I'm going to be adding her chin as well, and then doing those gold accents right along the bottom and the top of her foot. And if you are planning on sculpting Chip, you may, if maybe it's not an issue depending on how good your memory is, but you may want to make a notation of the colors you used on Mrs. Potts because you will want them for doing the same colors on her son. So now we're going to take, and with a shade of gray, a very light gray, we're going to be adding some shading on our Mrs. Potts. So just take and do a little bit of shading here and there with that color. It'll give the design so much more dimension with really very little effort just by going over a couple spots with that gray line. And then with white, you're going to highlight. Anytime you do a shadow, you want to do a highlight just to balance it out. So just go through and highlight spots here and there just to kind of bring them out and really make them pop. Add a little bit of a yellow highlight on all of that gold accents, her handle, her lid, and her foot. And then after you have that done, you can add a little bit of gold or yellow lines on that little pink part. And then with some paint, there's a really nice little petal shaped pattern across the bottom of her foot with a teal color and then a nice pink. So we're going to be doing that on there. And then after you have that done, you can go through and you can do some more outlines on her here and there. She's wearing, it almost looks like lipstick. She has a burgundy shade for her lips. So you'll want to be painting that in. Sometimes, as long as it's not on a human, or sometimes if the nail is on yourself, you can turn your hand around in more ways to get to a certain spot easier. But if you're working on a client, you may not be able to twist their hand around the way that I can twist my practice nail. But if you are working on a practice nail, don't forget that you can look at things upside down for a minute. And if you have a hard time visualizing while you're painting upside down, where you can't just turn the nail around and paint upside down for a little while, then turn it back around and paint right side up, because it's just, some people can visualize that and some can't, and that's really not an issue. What you have to do is you have to flip your phone around then, or whatever you have your reference photo on, which for me it's usually my phone. So if I am having a time when I'm having trouble with that, which kind of depends on the circumstance for me, I would say, I find that I'll just rotate my phone on my workstation so that my phone is upside down if I intend to paint upside down, which for me occasionally, as you can see with Mrs. Potts, I am definitely spinning her around. So she is upside down just to get to certain spots and certain tight spaces a little bit easier. So I'm going to be doing most of her outlines with black paint. If you wanted to make them a little bit less drastic and sharp, you could have done them with a darker shade of gray instead of straight up black. I just decided to go with black, and I thought it looked really striking and it made everything very visible and very clean looking. So we're going to be doing all of the outlines, her eyebrows, around her eyes, her pupils, her eyelashes, around her spout, her smile, her chin, etc. with that black. Just add all of those lines that are necessary, and then just keep going through. Anytime you see a spot that just looks like it needs to be a little bit more vivid, you can outline it. Otherwise, you can pretty much be done at this point whenever you feel happy with it. And once you're happy with it, I would recommend washing your brush out, setting it down, and just, accepting the fact that it's done. I know for me, a lot of times I will just try to keep adding details because I'm detail obsessive, I suppose. But once you are done with it, you can apply a layer of gel sealer over the background, cure that, and then some matte top coat over Mrs. Potts, and then this one is done. If you missed any of the previous ones, I will put links to them in the description box below. So that will be Lumiere, Belle, and Beast. Cogsworth will be coming tomorrow. And then if you are interested in seeing how I did Chip and the Rose, that will be up on Tuesday, as well as just the finished necklace. It'll all be done then. I love this series so much. I hope you guys are loving it as much as I do. If you are interested in the necklace, there will be a link for purchase in the description box below, so check that out. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!